from Bleeding Gums Murphy, him from Texas.
The Bleeding Gums Murphy?
The Bleeding Gums Murphy,
right.
apparently, who has a very important video. He wants to talk about a very important video that dropped about UFO stuff. Hey, Murphy, what's up?
Hey guys, Kelly, Scott, we've spoken before. Kelly, I don't know, Scott, I don't know your work, but I'm looking forward to learning about it. Yes, a video, it's now on Tubi as well, but a video dropped last month, UFOs, the film no one wants you to see. And it's a very considered debunking video. But the reason I'm talking about that is the abreaction to that video, the hatred and the the ad hominem attacks. The UFO community is having a shit fit over this video.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, so the video is debunking UFO claims and the UFO believers are getting upset about that?
They are coming apart. It dropped a month ago on YouTube, and it's got about 4,000 comments, 99% of which are, you're a CIA operative, you're one of them, the hatred and vitriol is over the top, which delights me. And he
That's
makes
so
very
funny.
calm, dispassionate analysis.
That's so funny that they're accusing him of being CIA operatives, because I always say just the opposite. It's that they're telling us that the UFOs are real to hide military technology that they're experimenting with us. So to have the UFO say, "Oh, you're just the CIA telling us they're not real," and I think the CIA would be telling us they were.
There are so many conflicting stories. Yes, reverse engineering, portals, dimensions. I mean, take your choice. There are so many conflicting hypotheses out there, but I am so delighted to see the UFOers having a shit fit about this thing, because it's so calm and rational, and he points out some very legitimate disclaimers about why this didn't happen, and how that is, the other thing is very well explained, and they're just having a come apart. I'm loving it.
So you said 99% of these 4,000 comments. By the way, I really hope you didn't read 4,000 comments under a YouTube video. But you're saying 99% of those were ad hominem, that kind of stuff. So were the other 1%? Were they considering it? Were they being reasonable? Was there? I mean, I haven't watched the video that you're talking about, but I imagine I can picture what you're talking about. But has there been any positive response at all to this?
Very limited. There are a few. There are like 1 in 100 are supportive. Thank you for these rational disclaimers and doing the hard work, to explain these things. But the thing that caught me was the level of hatred, against this guy. It's worse than the creationist versus evolution theory. I'm 65 years old. I grew up on Star Trek and Outer Limits. I want there to be aliens, but until there's hard evidence, until you bring me a body or a piece of a craft, I'm not going to believe it. You need some hard evidence, motherfuckers. Show us something real, and we will all believe it. Anyway, that's my only thing. That's my only thing. Just the level of outrage that this guy should point out inconsistencies.
I would think that would be expected. I mean, especially for conspiracy theorists, they tie their beliefs to their identity. They're like, this is the kind of person I am. I'm a whistleblower. I'm a truth teller. I'm not part of the system and that kind of thing. And so when those thinly held beliefs are challenged, the response, the cognitive dissonance that goes on in your brain, you have to respond to it. And people respond using the fight or flight kind of response. It triggers the same kind of areas in your brain. You either run away from the conversation, or you throw down the gauntlet and, get ready to throw hands. It's just, it's a measure of, and it's a totally human response. It's not just conspiracy theorists that react this way. Anybody whose identity is threatened It's just a question of how did you build that identity? What is it founded on, and that kind of thing. You know, what do you consider a threat to your identity? But it's, you know, it's a very common response. You challenge somebody's identity, you're challenging their family. You don't cross this line. You don't come at me this way. And so then the mama bear reactions come out. There was the strong response, you know, protective responses that it just kicks in and it takes over. So you know, it's completely expected from what I would imagine. And I would imagine this is also not the first time that kind of thing has happened. Any kind of debunking show or any kind of evidence, you know, showing that challenging that belief system is instantly, you know, a target. And so we, you know, it happens a lot. And so I would expect it to happen here too.
I thought it was really interesting that you mentioned. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Kelly. Go ahead, please.
No, I was thinking. Thought it was really interesting that you mentioned that they've been getting as heated as some theists, like creationists, and in a way, if you think about it, the whole alien idea is kind of like replacing the idea of a god. We have these hyper intelligent beings that are coming down here and they're going to save us with their technology. It's you know, it's not God coming down to save us with magic. It's aliens coming down to save us with technology, but it's still kind of fitting into that same hole. You know what I mean? And I think maybe that's why we get some of that blowback. People are so convinced that this is something that's going to happen, that these aliens out there are not only there, but they have better technology. They can lead us to a better life. And someday, damn it, they're going to land here and teach us how to do it. You know, just like someday the second coming, right?
Happens.
Yeah. One more step.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be like the day the Earth stood still. Well, there's an interesting conflict going on in the wacko community. Are they aliens or are they fallen angels? And there's a lot of disagreement on that stuff. No, they're not. They're not ETs. They're fallen angels, and this fight goes on daily. You know.
That's great.
Anyway,
I'm not a huge fan of the phrase wacko community, I should point out, but you know, then we're kind of pushing the border of addressing mental health issues there when we don't know anything. I mean, it's like I said, it's a human response. It's an irrational response. Human beings are irrational, and I know you weren't trying to be, you know, degrading with that.
I will take your comment. I will take your comment under advisement. What would you call them most charitably?
I would call them people who have irrational beliefs.
The irrational crowd.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay.
And in 20 years, that's going to be a bad thing to say too.
Well, but if you say that, if you address the beliefs rather than the individuals, then I think you're generally going to be safe.
Okay, I get that. Have you watched any Mud Fossil University or Marie Colvin or Hans Wormhat? Are those not wackos?
I'm definitely going to say that Wormhat and Mud Fossil University, I'm not sure. I don't think I have any experience with the other one, but those definitely are people who have some wacky ideas about science and history. I will definitely say that.
So we're shading the spectrum here. Those people probably are kind of wacko.
They have some wacko ideas. I will give you that. The ideas are definitely wacko. The idea that the mountain range of Algeria is a fossilized dragon is just incredibly silly.
Thank you for pointing out. And you know, you're right. Calling people wackos is a bit unkind, and I will take that under consideration. And thank you for that correction.
Sure. Yeah. Talk about the ideas, not the people themselves.
And I think it just distracts from the conversation. As soon as you insult somebody, we see the purpose of your call, right? Is we were threatening, or this show was threatening the beliefs of this community, and the response was harsh and negative. And so the same way, if you want to be productive and you want to have a conversation, if you want to make a difference, then if the first thing out of your mouth, and again, I'm not picking on you here, but if the first thing out of your mouth is something negative about the individual, then their defense system is going to go up, and they're not going to want to have a conversation. They're not going to, and they're going to, their claws are going to come out as well. But anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse there, but I think it is worth mentioning.
I totally get that. This is the last thing I say. I'm almost 66 years old, and my patience has worn thin with these people. So I don't want to resort to name calling, but God damn it, learn some fucking science for a change.
That's understandable. That's understandable.
Isn't it funny how life has different effects on people? Now I'm going to be 64 tomorrow, so haha, you're older than me, but but as I've gotten older, I've gotten more patient. So, and I'm not saying you're wrong for being impatient, because I have definitely had my impatient moments, believe me. But I just think it's funny how life has affected us both differently. That's all.
And I'm just happy that I get to be the young guy in the conversation.
It kind of goes back to our first caller, and having the same event being having a different effect on different people, because we experience it different ways, even though we're experiencing the same thing. So, yeah.
Well,
maybe you're Discordian.
Everybody go watch UFO. Oh, by the way, Discordianism, I'm so sorry the Church of the Subgenius didn't come up.
Oh, yeah. How about it, right? How about it? Scott, though, you know that one?
I'll have to get you familiar with it. It's been...
I'll have to get you up to par on those.
All right,
two.
Catch me up with that.
Praise Bob. Don't let anybody steal your slack.
Yep, he's going to save us from the X's.
I just bought a Church of the Subgenius T-shirt last week. Okay, thanks guys for your time.
Thank you, Murphy.
Keep doing the good work.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Murphy.
Appreciate it. Have a great evening.